More analysis on the shock cabinet reshuffle. Today, we're joined by independent political analyst, Professor Lesiba Teffo, in our Pretoria studios. Good afternoon, Prof, and thank you once again for your time on the SABC News Desk.
Good afternoon, Kashnet.
Prof, is this a show of strength from a president who is facing severe criticism on all fronts now?
Well, look, even the most brilliant and capable have a tendency to overreach themselves. I said then when he removed Minister Gordon that I think he will precipitate his downfall. And today I think he's played one of the last cards. Remember, when he was fired as a deputy president, he had sufficient time to run across the length and the breadth of the country campaigning and riding on the victimhood sentiment. Now here is Blade Nzimande, very capable orator, a capable organizer, and with a very good brain. I have no doubt he will have ample time to ensure that he unseats the president as well as the faction that he is supposed to ensure that it assumes the reins of power come December 2017.
Prof, the SACP clearly not mincing their words at the press briefing earlier, saying they view Blade Nzimande's removal as a direct attack on their party. Will this already challenged alliance stand the test of time?
Look, first, of all the people who have spoken here, most of them are those that defended by all means possible the president against all advice at the time. And my advice today, as it was yesterday, is that believe in a principle and not in the person. And it is dangerous in Africa in particular to be right when the government is wrong. Now here we are. I grant Blade Nzimande has done a wonderful job as far as I'm concerned, especially in the TVET sector. He had a passion for it, and I think we will look back someday and give him credit for that. But he's one of the architects and the brain behind the rise of Jacob Zuma and his march to the State House. He was the brain behind the demise of Thabo Mbeki. And then talking about the alliance, I've said it then and I will repeat. There is no room for an alliance. An alliance, by definition, the tripartite was allied against apartheid. Once it was gone, they ought to have gone their different ways. They stayed on like abused spouse. Now, in 2007, they registered to go on their own. We hear that even today, they are likely to go on their own, on condition Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't win. Meaning, should he win, they would still stay on. So I don't see any room for the alliance. I think it has fallen apart, and what they can do is just to consolidate themselves and align with whoever they think can take them forward. For the ANC, as far as I'm concerned, has lost, I think, the moral compass, has lost the vision that the founding fathers had to serve the people without fear or favor, to serve the people to the best of their abilities. Those who are in cabinet today, more than half of them, with due respect, are not worthy of the positions they hold.
Prof, the opposition now claiming that the appointment of David Mashlobo as energy minister is merely an attempt to get the Russian nuclear deal off the ground. What do you make of that?
I align myself with that sentiment. But again, I'm an eternal optimist. South Africa has the potential to redeem itself from the brink of calamity. Civil society active as it is, I want to believe it will keep Mahlobo and the president busy, and he may not see that coming to fruition. Attempts are going to be made, at least to get it signed, but I'm sure that we are going to keep the courts busy to ensure that it wasn't done the right way, or it was not in the best interest of the nation. And if that is happening in the course, and then he loses in December, I think 6 months might be too much for him not to be recalled. Since I'm saying he's racing against time, but I think the circumstances and the ground itself is not as flat. The topography it's going to be very challenging for him to run with the speed he pleases.
Professor, very quickly, we are running out of time. This is the second reshuffle in just a year. What do you think the impact of all this maneuvering will have on the public consciousness just 2 months before the ANC's crucial elective conference? Will it serve to heighten uncertainties among ordinary South Africans?
Look, possibly the 12th reshuffle in 8 years. How unfortunate. But as far as the people's perception, I think in the court of public opinion, the president has lost out completely. And even the ANC as the ANC. Because it's only now some of them are beginning to raise their voice. But the things that are happening they are complaining about have been there. Out of political expediency and opportunism, they chose to be quiet. But I think there isn't much that they can still do to redeem themselves. They will go to the conference. One of the two candidates will win. They will get more divided, and they will have little time to self-correct in order to regain and win the will of the people to the extent that they can give them the vote they would please in 2019. Therefore, the more they do this, the more likely that the principal beneficiary would be the opposition parties.
Professor Lesiba Teffo joining us from our Pretoria studios there. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us on the SABC News Desk.